Okay, welcome to part two of our orientation here. This is going to give us a little more direction on what's on this V2L site. In this presentation, we're going to ask what is within the V2L site, and particularly we're going to look at the course homepage, navigation, items, the assessments, something called the assessments, communication, and resources, and also the general site structure. Okay, so the first thing you're going to come to when you come into the course, obviously you saw the homepage. And so you somehow got to the content browser here because I directed you to the content in my welcome letter. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the different things that you're seeing on this page and how you can use them. The first is the level 1 navigation bar. And so the level 1 navigation bar has several links on it. And the first link that there is the link to the homepage. And so we can see right there in the upper left-hand corner, you see the link to the home page. Next is the link to find other courses or stay in this one. And again, that's all on the left side. Moving over to the right side, you see something that looks like a little envelope that is where you can click on that link. It'll take you to your email. Then next you're going to see a link to the news items. And then you'll have a link to the pager. All right, in the pager you can page people in the class. Myself, if I'm online, feel free to page me. I'll be glad to respond to you. Finally, on the right side, you'll see your name and a little pull-down menu. That little pull-down menu will allow you to go in there and change profile items, will allow you to change your passwords and notifications. So you can take a look at that and work with those items. All right, the level 2 navigation bar. There you're going to see a link to the GHC 411. That'll take you out to a forum where you can get help with financial aid matters, registration matters. There's some links to other folks at the college, or the registrar's office, the college, the e-learning division, and so some resources for you. Next on the left side there in the level 2, you'll see a link to the Galileo, which is our library resources. You're also going to find, in addition to the link on the navigation bar, you're going to have what we call a widget. That's this big orange link that you see here in the middle. Actually, if you click on the little arrow that's pointing to the right in this widget, or any widget, it'll open up more information for you. Okay, so feel free to look at the library information there. The next thing on the level 2 is the maintenance schedule. This is the schedule of maintenance of when V2L is going to be down to you, and they do maintenance every other Friday from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. So feel free to look at that and look at the maintenance schedule, because you won't have access to V2L during the maintenance schedule, our scheduled maintenance. Okay, going over to the right, you're going to see the calendar date, and that calendar date, if you click on it, will actually take you to the calendar, and we'll have your course calendar information in it. There's a help link and that's just kind of a Q&A help link for help with some things within V2L. And then there's the log out. So if you want to log out the course, just go ahead and click that to log out. Okay, so that was the level 2 navigation bar. The third level navigation bar gets a little more specific to the course. There we're going to see a link to the content. So that's probably the first one that you did to get to the class. We have an assessment, communications, and resources link that really has an additional menu on. You can see there's little pull downs next to them, and we'll talk about what each one of those has in just a moment. And so that was all on the left side. Going over to the right side, you're going to see a link to the course homepage. So if you're somewhere in the course and don't know how to get back, just click that link and it'll take you to your home page here. And then there's a link more directly to the grades in the course. So if you're sitting there going, what grade did I get in that? Let me click on that real quick. All right, so that's the third level of navigation. In the third level navigation, we also have those assessment links, and the assessment link there will actually has a pull-down menu, and you pull down that menu, you can get to the Dropbox, the grades, the quizzes where the tests are, the rubric, and the self-assessment. So this is kind of a new design for you from last semester, and hopefully to make things a little bit quicker and easier, more efficient on the home page. This is followed by the communications link. That's where you're going to find things such as the class list, the discussions, the email, the groups, And so for those of you who might want to be in a group in the projects, which I'll talk about later on, we'll set up some sort of process where people can say, yeah, I want to be in a group, assign me to a group, or hey, I want to be in a group, these are the folks that I know I'm going to be in a group with. There's also a link there to the news item and the pager as well, so some extra links there. I didn't mention the chat up here because there's a link to a chat, but we're probably not going to use it too much in this course, and some of you use Blackboard Collaborate on a weekly basis. Okay, and then I seem to have lost one of my slides here. Let me, whoops, no, I didn't lose a slide. I added the slide because I wanted to talk to you about communication feedback times. See, sometimes professors get lost in where they're at. Okay, so, which is, okay. Communication and feedback time. It is my goal to answer your email, discussion, posts, and other communication as quickly as possible, and the following are the communication and feedback goals that I have. So you send an inquiry is sent on Sunday through Thursday. That should be answered within 24 hours, okay, unless I tell you something otherwise. Any inquiry sent after 12 noon on Friday or on Saturday probably won't be answered for 48 hours, most likely not until Monday morning. Just be aware of that, and please be aware that I'm not online 24/7, and I do realize that answering your questions is an important part of your learning, but also please, on your end, realize that learning is a process that does take some time. And so I just, you know, like I said, I'm sure most folks are not online 24/7, so just like you're not online 24/7, same thing here. Okay, and so let's move along to the resource pull-down menu then on the home page. It contains a link to the content. Again, you can go to the content there if you like, a link to the calendar if you want to use that, and a link to the checklist with all the folks who are in the class and a way to email them. Okay, the other thing you're going to see on the home page is very important is something called the news. And that news has a widget, and that widget will be on the left side of the page. And news items contain information and updates that you need to know. They will be posted at least once a week. And you are expected to read all of these and follow any instructions that are in there. There might be a change to something that's going on in the class, or maybe there was a power outage or some inclement weather that is going to force a change in a due date, and so I will put those announcements in the news items in the class. Okay, and those do have start and end dates to them, so that it doesn't clutter up the whole your news box, and so I'm trying to make that as efficient as possible for you to use. Okay, let's talk about the site structure a little bit. We mentioned that you could go to the calendar a couple different ways in the course. And so the question here is, need to find out when the assignment is due? Well, the course calendar is the place to go. Just select the date on the course homepage or go to the resource area and select calendar, and it brings it up. You'll notice in the calendar that you will have a links here to and more information here, short little abbreviated items that say something is due. And so I have all the due dates and such for all the time we're in the class, all 15 weeks. Posted here. This particular calendar that I pull up, I just noticed that I didn't have the calling this week 1 and week 2, so you know when week 1 and week 2 are. And so I'll get that in there prior to you know, the start of the class. So right now when you're looking at this, you'll probably see that in there. But the calendar is one of the central things for the class that most students use, and it's the best place to go if you're unsure when something's due. And the official calendar is the one at the V2L site. Okay, as well as the site structure, you know, you're here in the Getting Started page, and a lot of times you say, well, I need to find out information about assignments or requirements in the course. Well, the course syllabus that is posted here in the Getting Started module is the place to go. You'll see the link that says Linux Syllabus Math 1001. You'll click on that, they'll take you out to the course syllabus. And you can print the course syllabus. Yes, I know it is long, it's about 15 pages, I guess, printed, and that's because there's a lot of stuff online that I need to tell you that I can't tell you as easily as I would in the lecture class, so to speak. So I want to have it all there written out so we know what rules we're going by. Many times students will send me an email or communication, ask me something that's actually out of the syllabus. If it's actually something that's directly in the syllabus that maybe you forgot that was a policy in the class, I'll direct you to that within the syllabus. Or if it's a question about some clarification of the syllabus, then you know, definitely send me those so I can clarify this. items in the syllabus for you. Okay, with regard to the class structure in V2L, what you're going to find, the course is constructed around 5 units, and you can get to these in the content area. As you can see on the screen, I actually have, it looks like almost 6 units, but I consider the getting started as a module as kind of the prerequisite to everything. So then the actual graded, well, there are graded things in the getting started, but the heavy graded stuff is in units 1 through 5. Okay, so we have 5 units here. As you'll see, as those units, as you look at them, I mentioned the types of things that are in those units in the video presentation part 1 here. All right, next, each of these units is divided into weeks. During each week, you will study 1, 2, 3 sections of material. You can see here in Unit 1, I've opened this up. You can see Week 1, Section 7.1, Week 2, Sections 7.2, 8.1, and 8.3. Okay, notice these green check marks here. Those green check marks mean that you've gone through that unit in V2L. Okay, the My Math Lab and V2L aren't hooked together, so you still may have some items in My Math Lab to do. So keep that in mind as you're working with the unit structure here. Okay, so in each section you will find an overview of the objectives followed by at least 1 page of content and examples related to each objective. And so here, this is for, look how I've done this. We've got Unit 1, Week 1, and then by section 7.1. Okay, so that way you'll know where you need to be each week in the course. And I've, again, developed this structure over the years that I've been teaching. Okay, and so then you'll have, we see here there's actually 6 pages. I know the first overview page, which is page 1, isn't labeled like you would in a report or something. That's the way I've structured this. Okay, notice on top here that it gives you the completion bar, a completion bar. That completion bar says how many of these items you completed, so that helps track you. I do have a tracking of this, so I know. I'm going to just be up front and honest and clear with you. So if I go in and somebody says, oh yeah, okay, I've done this, I've really worked on this hard in this course, and we're having difficulty or something, I can go in and say, gosh, you only did 1 of the items in the Unit 1 area in V2L. I know you've been working in My Math Lab, but maybe you should go back in there and take a look at that, and maybe we have to readjust your strategy a little bit for studying. So anyway, so that structure is there. Also, if you're looking for test discussion and posts, with each unit you will find a unit assessment activity subunit. It contains links to the test, the discussions, and the projects associated with that unit. That's the graded items. Okay, so here I've got an arrow pointing to that. So you can see that that's pointing to the last thing. Notice there's no check mark there, so that means I haven't completed that. And so we'll talk more about the test discussion and post in the 3rd installment or 3rd part of our orientation. Okay, so that ends the general overview of the V2L site. So if you take a little break and go to part 3, which covers the assignments that are at the V2L site.